Hi guys! So, I'm about to do a sketchbook tour. I was doing another video where I was going through different papers and that sort of thing, and how different sketchbooks, papers react to different media, and I realized that I actually finished this. I don't know when I finished it. I really don't even know what's in here. So we're about to find out. Disclosure. I don't always finish all my drawings, so I might have some pictures, drawings of figures that look like they're naked. They kind of look like mannequins, and I just want to throw that out there just in case anything makes you uncomfortable. That I don't know. There's nothing like super explicit. They're just like mannequins. I just didn't bother to finish putting clothes on anything. So they're just kind of like figure sketches. Pretty common in the art world, but just in case somebody stumbled across this or something, I just want to let you know. Also, there's probably curse words written in here. Not big or bold or anything, but, you know, if I get frustrated or whatever, then I just, like, I might scribble a curse word in the corner or something like that. So just to make you aware, in case you're younger, you might want to skip this video. I don't know. There's my disclaimer. Moving on now, okay? Hello, and welcome to the Rummaging Ferret. I don't actually know when the sketchbook was started. I really haven't even looked through here. I just kind of flipped through and realized I'd finished it when I was doing my other video. This was from when I was in college. That's a MARTA train. MARTA is, I think, specifically just around the Atlanta kind of area. And that's actually where I went to college. There's a D20. That's actually Dowlin smoking a cigarette. That's one of my OCs. Let's see here. It's T-Rex. This was probably from when I was playing D&D a lot. I played a bunch of different druids, and quite a few of them could turn into dinosaurs. Let's see here. So, yeah, so this was 2, 3, probably fourth semester, so like second year of architecture school. We were working on a project. I remember this. I don't remember this. It's a tiger. This is my OC and somebody else's OC. Tara's OC is Cougar and Fraylin. I have a lot of couples drawings, I think, maybe in here. I do tend to draw a lot of couples together, which again goes back to that mannequin thing. So, like, if nothing's clothed, I'm sorry. But there's nothing super specific about anything. Like I said, it's just a mannequin. Just kind of like a figure pose kind of deal. So this is... Okay, so the idea behind this is you have an air pocket under a building that has colder air in it that draws the cold air up and through the building via a shaft. It works kind of like a cupola does, or like if you lived in some other place, maybe you get like a colder basement, you leave the basement door open, you open an upper story window, and that would suck your cold air and your hot air up, because your hot air wants to rise, and the cold air is going to fill that void behind the hot air, and it's going to kind of go out the top of the building, and in doing so will suck the colder air along with it. It's kind of called a cupola effect or something like that. In the South, we have cupolas on some of our buildings, or we used to. I don't know how many have survived history, but they're kind of used as decoration these days, but they actually used to serve a purpose before we had air conditioning and heating and that sort of thing. I don't think this is all architecture. I'm pretty sure it's not. These are just architecture notes for class. Quite a few of them. I had a different book for architecture. Artemis Drawing. Sorry, I know I keep moving my book. I'm hoping it's in frame. These are usually when I don't know what to draw, my default is to draw cat girls or cat people. I tend to draw eyes. Oh, that's kind of like, it's not a lion. It's kind of one of those Greek animals from mythology. Not a Medusa. It's kind of similar to a manicore along that lines, although manicores have like human faces. This is back before I really kind of started filling the pages. The other thing is too, I usually leave this side blank because I tend to use a lot of pencil, and pencil will smudge and smear on the other side because of the binding here. So floppy pages will just kind of rub together and cause problems. So I wanted to always leave that side blank. I don't always do that. Oh, this is cool. Let's see here. Are we in focus? There we go. Just checking. So this is basically like a lazy river that floats between two tanks. They actually have this in a couple of different places around the world. One place, I believe, which I didn't know at the time when I made this, thinking I was being original, right? Aquatica has this. They have a, what is it, like a dolphin tank or porpoise tank, and they have like a water slide that goes through it. It's not a lazy river, although I think they have a lazy river like that too, where it's fish on each side. I haven't been, I've only heard about it and kind of seen like pictures, which is pretty cool. Let's see here. And then there's a, I think it's called Atlantis. It's like a hotel, like a super fancy hotel. And they have like a lot of water theming going on because they're like on a peninsula or something. And I think they have like a shark tank with a water slide through it, I think. I might be misquoting. That might be something else. But there is a shark tank that has a water slide that goes through it. Aquatica, I know, has one. But this was the idea for like a lazy river. And like fish or sharks or something being on the other side. Okay, this one I didn't finish. And that's why I talk about mannequins not having clothing. Clothing is very hard for me to design. It's not something I'm inherently good at. Most of the time I draw like a plain shirt and a tank top, and I'm trying to get better at that. And it's going to take me some time to get better. This is from 2006. I think this is the first date I've really seen in this sketchbook. I know this... Yeah. I know this sketchbook has spanned a lot of years, because I remember having this one for a while. But this is Vivian Hazard. And they were just like cuddling and snuggling and kissing and whatever. And then this is kind of like a bust portrait of both of them together. I was trying to figure out a way to have like couples interacting with each other, because a lot of the time most people draw like just a person and they're not interacting with anything or anyone. So having another character kind of makes the drawing more interesting. A lot of people don't use props either or anything like that. They just kind of have a girl floating in space, which is kind of cool on its own, but like, I don't know, I want something else to go along with it. So having like two characters playing off each other, and how does that work with all those arms and legs, and how do they snuggle, and it's interesting, and it's kind of like a puzzle box that you get to figure out. It's fun to draw couples. So there might be more stuff that's similar to that. She's not actually naked, I just haven't designed clothes for her. I don't know if it's in this one. My other sketchbook has a lot of me trying to design clothing. So, yeah, Clothing's not something I get at. I literally have to sit down and design something before I put it on a character so I can understand it better. But anyways, I don't usually do fan art, but this is Trinket from from campaign 1 of Critical Role. It's a D&D show. Check it out if you don't know about it. Most people do. A lot of people do. And one of the catchphrases for their Goliath Barbarian was, "I would like to rage!" You know, I don't do it justice. But, so I thought it would be cute if Trinket, which was the hunter's companion, was like, "I would like to rarge!" I thought it was cute. I thought it was funny. That's actually a really good picture of a bear. And I just did that from memory. I didn't look at a photo or anything to do it. But I thought it turned out pretty cute. I was pretty proud of that. I actually sent it to Critical Role and they never used it. But, I mean, how much fan art do they get? I'm sure is like a massive ton. What is that? Koi fish. See, like I said, when I don't know what to draw, I usually start with like a head or an eye, or like a cat person or a dog. Usually my go-tos. What is this? This is an architecture. What is this? Oh! I actually live in this house. I'm currently sitting here, facing out the window. This is not what my house looks like. Back when my grandmother was alive, whenever she would be cooking, the stovetop would be over here, the living room would be over here, and this was kind of like a closed-in breezeway that was just kind of this weird space in the house, and everybody used to sit around this table. So she would always stand in the doorway here and talk to everybody, and this was all closed off. The kitchen was a closed-off room. So I had the idea one summer while my grandmother was still alive that I was going to redesign her kitchen on paper. And I opened up, made a peninsula, moved the stovetop so it was actually in the peninsula so she could talk to us while she cooked. And then I always had my shoes piled up by the back door, so I made a shoe cabinet. And I wanted to keep the really cool corner cabinets. And I moved the refrigerator. And then I wanted to, this is the formal dining room that like nobody ever used. So I wanted to open that up so that we used that dining room more often. Another problem too with the current kitchen, which I still have problems with, is it's very hard to get through the kitchen to any other room in the house because there's a giant kitchen table that sits right here. So you literally have to go through the doorway, or squeeze between the refrigerator and the table, and then squeeze between what is currently the built into the wall cabinet oven, and that corner cabinet, well, that edge cabinet, and then cut through the door to the rest of the house. So yeah, and everything goes on that table. That is, and always has been, the catch-all table. Like, if it's a purse, it goes on that table. If it's newspapers, it doesn't matter. It always ends up on the kitchen table. This... Yeah. Okay, wow. Right? That is that, right? Yeah! Okay. So I run a campaign for D&D that's just me and one of my friends. Because it's a lot easier to get a small group together than it is to get a many-person table together. And this is actually a map, because I don't draw everything out in like a tabletop map. And I play with her on Roll20. So I'm going to end up describing all of this as she plays through instead of actually having her move a miniature through it. But I did paint this section, which is the magic circle area. Which is this. So, if you look on here, there's like 4 tiny columns. And that's the 4 columns here. This isn't finished. I gotta finish painting it, and then this will be up in my Etsy store. Ooh, excuse me. There was a creature, kind of like a Tarrasque, but not. A big hulking creature that was in here. And one of the other inmates from the compound actually came in, broke it free, and then took over the space as a workspace for himself. So we're going to be playing this when I eventually finish the map for this. And then I'm going to scan it and put it up on my Etsy shop, and I'm also going to put it up on my personal Roll20 for my friend and me to play on. But, so I only did a portion of this map. So this section here is this section blown up, or other way around. This is the small thumbprint for this. So this was actually a prison, I guess? Yeah, a prison. For different magical creatures and things that were terrorizing the surrounding area. Inmates? It's not the word I was looking for. Criminals! There we go! Criminals. Magical criminals. So this is where part of the compound that they were locked down. In my current campaign with Terror, we've gone through 3 maps. So we're almost to this. We're really close to this, and I want to try to get this finished. But this is what it looks like. I'm currently painting it in watercolors. But hopefully this will be done soon. Hopefully. I keep getting called in to work a lot. Let's see here. Let me see if my camera is focused. There we go. Make sure we're centered. Okay. So, this was just me doodling. I was trying to do something different, and so I was trying to work on like perspective and like a girl doing a high kick or something. Now, of course, it's a cat girl because I didn't know what else to draw, so I just drew that. I really kind of like this though. Like the mouth on this, it looks almost like gummy, you know? Like the teeth are like gummed together. Sticky. Oh, I like this spread. Well, I guess it's not a spread, it doesn't span both pages, but I really like this page. So, that's not so great. No idea what that is. Oh! That is a person that's upside down, that's kind of like breakdancing, I guess. Spinning, and that's their foot. I always thought that was a scribble. Okay. That is actually something. Alright, cool. Some of this ain't great. Like, most of this. Like, the good stuff's in this side. Oh, that's cute. None of these are real, like, characters or OCs or anything like that, or drawn from something. It was just me just doodling. It's like a llama. A really funky looking llama. I'm trying to think. Like, Coraline had a hat like that. If anybody remembers the movie Coraline. I really like this one. That's super cute. Just like a doe, I guess, like a little fluffy doe tail, and then she's like stretching her arms back behind her, and she's like arcing her back forwards, curving her back. I don't know. And then you know she's kind of like looking up and over her shoulder. I kind of like that one. That's cute. I really do like that llama. It's so stupid looking. Alright. Yeah, that's terrible. This is back when I didn't use all my pages. Dole Whip. I've never been, well, in living memory, I haven't been to Disney World. Like, I was told we went, but I don't really remember it. But I watch a lot of Disney vlogs. And Dole Whip, I always wanted to try one because I love pineapple. So like a pineapple ice cream on a hot day would be awesome. And then that's Hakuto. That's a little scribble drawing of Hakuto with a set of, like, headphones. She's so cute. She got a little stubby tail. Hakuto is a corgi. If you go to my shop and stuff, or you look through my sketchbooks, there's usually a lot of corgis. She actually passed last Christmas. So the day after Christmas, she couldn't walk anymore, and I had to put her down. And it's still kind of like... It's a sore spot for me, and I've drawn copious amounts of corgis, especially after she died. So, like, my current sketchbooks have corgis every couple pages, and me just writing how much I miss her, because I do. She was a giant part of my life. You don't realize how much space in your heart something takes up until it's gone. Oh, that's a D&D. I never finished that. Oh, this was one of my Kenku... Okay, this was my Kenku Druid. What campaign was this? I don't think this was Rage of Demons. No, because Kenku came after Rage of Demons. Oh, I don't remember what campaign this was. That was a fun campaign, though. I don't even remember what it was called. Who DM'd that? I think that was Carrie that DM'd that. Yes! I think it was Carrie. Pretty sure it was Carrie. But yeah, this was my Kenku Druid who was always panicking, and the cool thing about him was that he had a previous party that died. So, when the previous party died... he spoke in their voices, because Kenkus, like, have a mimicry feature where they mimic other people. They don't actually speak for themselves. So usually they mimic other people, that's how they talk. So most people start a Kenku and then they don't have any list of words or anything, or they learn from what the party says or something. Well, I got around that by just saying that this character had a party before and knew all these words and could speak in different voices, kind of thing. That was my way around it. Oh, okay, I remember this, because that's Cirque du Soleil. So, when I lived in Atlanta, I used to go to all the Cirque du Soleil shows I possibly could. Even if it was just like the cheap seats in the back. I tried to get the best ticket I could possibly afford. If you haven't seen Cirque du Soleil, I don't know what they're doing during the pandemic. I know that they put a lot of stuff up online. Go check them out, man. You can, I'm sure, rent or buy some of their movies online, either through them or through Amazon or through YouTube. Check them out. It's a really good thing. It's like an acrobatics circus show thing. I've seen my favorites too. Actually, they're all kind of my favorite. Check out I'm a Luna. Check out... Oh, there's one called, like, Mexico the Waking Dream, but it's got an actual title. That's not the title. But check that one out. It's about Mexico. Super cool. Then there's also Curio's Cabinet of Curiosities. That one is so good, too. Those are probably my top 3 that I've seen. There was one that they canceled that was in Japan, that because of the nuclear and the, it was a permanent show, I think. I think it's like Zero or something. But because of the earthquake and the nuclear disaster that happened there, Cirque du Soleil pulled their actors out. And it was a permanent show. I think you can find it on YouTube somewhere. Check them out. Lanuba used to be at Disney World. They took it out. They're supposed to be replacing it with an animated, geared show, whereas before it was just kind of had nothing to do with Disney or anything like that. And not that it's supposed to be Disney-esque or Disney character-based, I don't think. I don't think they've produced it yet. I think it's in the works, and should be released soon. I know they were doing sneak previews, or cast previews, something like that. But it's kind of revolves around the world of animation, which, if it's anything like their Hollywood, they did one based on Hollywood for, I think, like, the awards or something. I'm not good at this, can you tell? I'm not a Hollywood person. The Oscars, I think they did one for the Oscars, and if you Google that, if you look it up on YouTube, it is so good. And I think it was for the Oscars. I think it only ran for like a week or something, and it was spectacular. Just check out Cirque Du Soleil. They're a Canadian-based company. A lot of their stuff is actually in French because they're French-speaking, but check them out. They're really cool. But I did all this. I usually get to the show super, super, super early, and so I was just drawing and doodling. Let's see here, and just kind of trying to make like a collage, and then that's what, like, one of the hoop dancers. That was a couple that was sitting on a bench across from me that was waiting to be let in. Oh! I drew this, I think, probably for Cabinet of Curiosities or for the Mexican-themed one. But for Cabinet of Curiosities, they don't always do this, but sometimes if you show up super early for a show, on certain days, and it was really windy that day, and they were going to cancel it, but they ended up, the wind died down, and they were able to do it. They were actually tent walking. So they got some of their main characters all dressed up in their garb and the costumes, were out there walking on top of the tent. And I was the only person facing it. So I was the only person that saw it. And, like, I tried to rally up the small bit of crowd that was there, and I was trying to show them, I was trying to get them up to look, and nobody was doing it. It was terrible. And I'm like, guys, you gotta see this. I'm like, get up, get up, get up. And I was, like, so excited. I'm like, they're tent walking. Get up and look, you know? And, like, nobody got up off the bench to look. I think there was, like, a couple people, maybe, that joined me. And then, like, some of the people that were coming in through the gates behind me, which this was so early before the show, very few people saw it. But, like, yeah, if you can, get to their shows early, because sometimes they'll do fantastic stuff for you guys. They're such a great company. And I'm sitting there, like, waving. I think I've got a video from it somewhere. Maybe I'll post it. I don't think it's a good video, but they were, like, bouncing on top of the tent, and they were, like, waving at me, and I was, like, waving back, and it was, like, it was so personal, because I couldn't get anybody else up off the benches to look at them. So it was pretty much just me saying hello and them saying hi back, and they were making, like, you could hear them speaking on the speakers, like, ooh, ah, hi, you know, and it was just, I was the only person looking at them. It was so sad. But it was a great moment, and it'll be a moment I think I will forever remember. But I ended up, once they got done and off the tent, I think because the wind was picking up a little bit again, or they were just done, I actually drew the tent in, and, yeah, that was a good moment. Okay, so this was for Tomb of Annihilation in the Jungles of Cholt. This is my turtle warlock, Kenny. And he is named Kenny because the previous version of him died in the second, week that we played it. So the first week we were in town, and then we left the town, and then we stumbled into an encounter that was far higher level than us. And so my original turtle warlock, Epoch, died. He died trying to save one of our other party members, or a couple of our other party members, and they survived and he died. He was the only one that died. And so I'm like, I didn't even get a chance to really battle. And so I asked the DM, you know, can I just, like, bring him back, call him something else, just this once? Because usually I will change characters, because I want to try different things. But for Kenny, I just brought him back, and I said, you know what, he's just going to wear, like, an orange coat, and we're just going to call him Kenny. And he actually lasted a fair bit before he died. But yeah, it was just so funny that the first encounter we had, he died. Epoch died. So I brought him back as Kenny. And he died because of a carnivorous plant that was, like, mesmerizing everybody and having everybody drawn to it so it could, like, latch on and, like, feast on it. So, everybody was pretty much gonna die unless I did something. And so I did, and I died for it. But they all survived. So it says the only good salad is a dead salad. Barbecue salad, anyone? Because we ended up nuking it from the inside. One of my friends actually got swallowed up by it, and I was casting like lightning bolt or something on it. Eldritch Blast, maybe? So, it was probably Eldritch Blast. And so I was nuking it from the outside and kind of like, even though my friend was on the inside, kind of mildly taking damage. I kept burning it and trying to kill it off. So that's where the joke barbecue salad comes from, and the only good salad is a dead salad. Because in Chult, everything's alive, even the plants. So this is actually dark sand with a carnation. I really like the pose, and I wanna do that and make that a final drawing eventually. I forgot that was in here. I really liked that pose though, where he's got kind of like the flower up to his lips. And here I tried to work on it a bit more, and have his hair, because he's got like super long hair that turns into a braid with a very large bead at the end. And I tried it from a different like camera angle to see if I liked it, and then I tried some little flowers. This is an architecture monument. I forget where that was. And then just kind of like me trying to doodle. This is what I was talking about when I said I don't do clothing, and that I literally have to sit down and figure out how clothing works and how an outfit looks before I draw it, because in my head, I do not have a large repertoire of clothing, especially like fantasy-based clothing. I don't know how that should look, except for like baggy. I don't know. And even that's kind of, I can do better. So this is actually, I was doing this for a much larger portrait, kind of like a family-style portrait. We have one setting called Arison, and there are gods, there are kings, queens, there are soldiers, an army, all this sorts of thing. And we have, like, so many characters that we play in that setting. So, this was actually for a family portrait, which was one of the gods, his lover, his daughter, his daughter's friends, and then his daughter's boyfriend. So it's like two generations of people and like their friends. And they all kind of live under the same roof now, because a lot of her friends are soldiers, which follow Ars the war god. So that's kind of her family. So this is Trigon. This is Felkar. And I was trying to figure out what Felkar's military outfit looks like and what the military outfit does look like. Trigon. I'm used to like saying these in my head, not out loud. Or reading them on paper. Well, not on paper, but like on a screen when we RP. And then this was Slayer's outfit. He's a whole separate different character altogether. He's actually with Dark Sand. Slayer is his boyfriend. And then I got a picture of me here. I was feeling very pretty that day, so I decided to draw myself. And that's probably one of the only portraits I have of me. Oh, and then this is Shinra. So Sinra is the boyfriend. And I was trying all different kinds of hair, trying to figure out which one would work. This is Tier's character. So a lot of me is drawing and going back and forth like, I like these, do you like these, what do you think of this? And text messaging me back, yes, no, maybe, I like this one better, this one's okay, but it needs to be too long, you know, it needs to be shortened, so it's like not quite. And so I go through all these until I kind of narrow it down to something that we both like and agree on. This is Bakshira, who is Sinra's girlfriend. And Bakshira is Aris's daughter. I have drawings of him, it's not in the sketchbook. Aris is the god of war. It's me just trying to figure out what Bakshira looks like. I know she's got like long black hair, like her mother. Oh, I got more pictures of her over here, or more drawings. And me just trying to figure out what her bangs look like and what sets her apart from how her mother looks, or how Dark Sand is also a relative of hers. I think it's her uncle. Her mother's brother. But this, you can see the smudging over here, is really kind of why I always leave this page blank. Is because when I use a lot of graphite, it transfers over and then it smudges on this side and then it ends up really bad looking. Okay, so this is Kirito. This is another OC, but it's not mine. I helped design him and make him what he is now. So one of my characters who is a demon actually kind of ate him and then, like, whole, just like chomp. Ate him entirely whole and then spat him back out and he was a demon. And so he actually he grew some horns. And I was trying to figure out what his horns look like, if they looked like more like antlers, and I thought, oh, these are so little cute, they're like little moose antlers, you know? So he actually has like a mouth in his neck. There's a couple of these that show it. He'll always have like this line where it might be frowning or smiling, and it basically opens up from his mouth down towards his abdomen, like his lower abdomen. And it's like this giant wolf snout that comes out and can eat people. It's kind of fun because it's like Tara plays this character, but then I get to play the mouth. So it's kind of like two of us playing the same character or different aspects of a character. But it's really super fun. And then this is the start of an architecture project. Signage for another older college, and they have a lot of, they're church based, so they have a lot of like arches and almost gothic like architecture. And then this is more of that signage. So this is me trying to figure out the bracket. I actually did make this completely in Rhino and sent it to the rest of the group. And then the rest of the group was like, oh wow, thanks for doing that. They just had to texture it and then do the presentation boards for it. Because they were super busy and I actually had some spare time and I wanted to practice using Rhino and getting better at it. So I did that. This was me just trying to figure out how many heads a person is. This is one of those mannequin sketches I showed you or talked about. This is Fi and Katsuna curled up next to him. I think that's really cute. I do want to draw that larger and then just like snuggled up and sleeping in their pajamas. It would be so cute. This is from a reference. These I actually drew at a D&D game. This is Jim, DM Jim. He actually runs a magazine called Bexham's Bazaar. He is my first DM outside of family. He ran, what was it, Rage of Demons? And that was my first real campaign, full campaign. I played another campaign, but only for like 2 weeks before that, and it was Elementals, and that was run by Katie before I sat down at Jim's table for the next campaign. What is his name? Oh my gosh, I'm Facebook friends with him. And I don't remember his name. He was the other cleric in the group. So he was the good cleric. He was complete pacifist. So he only did healing spells and beneficial spells like bless and stuff like that. And then I was kind of like the terrible cleric who was learning to be a cleric. And he was kind of like showing the way of how you're supposed to do things. And he kind of counterbalanced me a lot because I would go in and start just slaughtering everything. And he's like, that's not okay. And like, the group would be horrified with me just slaughtering stuff, right? And so they were all trying to teach me that that's not okay and that you need to do better. That was, what is it? Dragon Horde? Horde of Dragons? No. Dragon Heist. That's what it is. Dragon Heist. Which is the last campaign I played before I moved. And Carrie has also DM'd for me. Jim and Carrie look much like how they're drawn. He does not. He looks so different than what I drew him as. And I couldn't quite get him right. But Carrie looks fairly close to what he actually looks like in reality. And Jim too. Jim actually runs a YouTube as well. Tabletop Engineer. Carrie's a really good DM. He was actually a player in that game. But that was such a fun game. I had so much fun. I wish I could have stayed and played the rest of that campaign, but I had to move. That's done from reference. Let's see here. Oh, that's Tenseburo. So in the Arison setting that I roleplay with my friend Tare that we made, there's different sections of gods. Different history of gods. So in history, our history as human beings, we've had different stages of where we've progressed. So we have kind of like the prehistory where we lived in caves and tribes and we moved and we were nomadic, and that's sort of the era that Tenseburo is from. He is one of the older gods, not one of the original gods of the world, if there is such a thing. But there was at least one set, maybe two sets of gods before Tenseburo. Tenseburo was part of the nomadic tribes that lived, and he was a buffalo god. So in that stage in Arison's history and that stage of gods, they based their worship around different animals that they used or had a kinship with. So there was like a wolf tribe, an insect tribe, a buffalo tribe, a dolphin tribe, and Tenseburo was the buffalo god. The next sort of layer of gods that came next in the history was based on seasons, when the people of that setting started not being nomadic and started settling down and farming. So that set of gods is actually based on the seasons. So you'd have summer, winter, fall, and spring. So it was just 4 gods that made up that sect of gods. When a set of people starts to move on, or the gods start to fade or die off, or it's like a clean slate. So the people get wiped out, there's a couple survivors that start the next generation. So the gods get wiped out, their people get wiped out, and then it's kind of a new start to that new place in history, that new bookmark in history. So Tenseburo was actually brought back to life, but in the current day and age of Arison that we're playing out, there's gods based on different aspects of life. And there's 2 balances, good and evil. So you have the whites and the darks, and you have gods like life and death. You have god of pleasure and a god of love. You have, and it's kind of this balance, like the bad side of an aspect of life and the good side of an aspect of life. So that's kind of the current setting of Arison. And Tenseburo is from the couple prior sets of gods. He's from long, long ago, and he was brought back to life. And I thought he was such a cool and interesting character that I drew him out. This was me trying to figure out what it looks like to hammer things at a forge. So there's an anvil and a couple of people, one person's holding the item while the other one pounds it with a hammer. There's no references for these are just from imagination. Older. Casey Golden, who is a YouTuber, does or used to do a series of prompts. And me and my mom one day were Skyping each other, and we decided to do the prompts with her. And I forget what the prompt list actually was, but it was something like kiss, moon, stars, or celestial, or something like that, or planet. And so I don't remember what Mom drew, but I drew a moon kind of kissing the sun, like blowing a kiss goodnight to the sun on the other side of the planet. Because they're always together, but they're always apart. I kind of like this spread. Okay. So this is a list of things that a lot of people buy, like as far as artwork goes. So like what types of subject matter people like to buy for their artwork. This was before I started my shop and I was kind of doing a little bit of research. Copic Fox with some ballpoint pen. Drawing with Waffles did a YouTube video where she painted the cover of one of her ELO sketchbooks. And she did like the space astronaut, and I thought that was just so cool, so I tried to do my own. I could have sworn I did something better than that, but it's not here. These aren't from reference. This is also from reference. And this is me just playing with different materials. This is the first time I really kind of started to delve into color in a sketchbook, really. I think all my other sketchbooks were pretty much just pencil. Because the idea would be I would be able to scan it in pencil, put it on the computer, and then edit it digitally, but I never had time for that. So I just decided that I wanted to play with color, and so I was using different materials, Prismacolored markers, Copics, Prismacolored pencils, colored pencils, pen, Prisma markers. I had a lot of fun doing this, honestly. This was a lot of fun. I remember working on this. I especially love these guys. So, like, I drew the deer because it was probably around Christmas time. Gnome. And I thought that was cool, and I shaded him in. I don't know if that's Copic or not, or Prisma, but it was really fun to draw those, and I really enjoyed it. And there's, like, scratchy, so I got, like, a thicker line, and then, like, scratchy, thinner lines. I really like that flamingo. The wolf I'm not so thrilled with, but he's alright. Oh, okay. So I was trying to figure out how to draw hands, so I went online and I found, like, this massive wedding photo where everybody's, like, toasting and cheering to the bride and groom. And so I drew, like, every single hand that was in that photo that was visible. Because people were kind of, it was like an upward shot, and some people were standing behind one another, so I couldn't always see their hands, but I drew all the hands that I could see, and a lot of them contained, like, cups and bottles and things like that, or were, like, cheering, or, you know, like, pointing up and being like, yeah, you're number one, you know. Oh, there's the other one. I never finished her. I knew I drew one that was better. I didn't know what happened to it. So I guess I just did it a couple pages later. I was going to color it and stuff and line it, and I just never wasn't into it, and just kind of moved on. Okay, I must have been watching Critical Role. This is not Trinket. This was done from a reference photo. This was 2019, the first month. Oh, that would have been right before my grandmother died. Like a few days before my grandmother died. Anyways, so I guess I was watching Critical Role, and I'm like, you know what, I feel like drawing Trinket. And so I pulled up a reference photo and drew the reference photo in colored pencil, and that's actually probably one of my better colored pencil drawings. I really like that one. I hate colored pencil because it shows, like, paper texture. I really like it on this, but usually, like, I don't like it. I don't like all the white that shows up. I really like it on the flamingo, though. I kind of used it as, like, a way to add highlights by not shading, not going so heavy with it. And then there's Not. I really like that unicorn. I like how its tail is, like, turned almost like its horn is, and really kind of like the brush strokes on that, and the way that it almost looks, not, I guess emaciated would be the right word, but emaciated sounds so negative, but, because you can see, like, its ribs and stuff. But yeah, I really like how you can see the shapes of a unicorn, I guess, I don't know. This looks nothing like Travis Willingham at all. I was very disappointed with this, but I did not freeze frame the actual video. I just tried to draw him, and I didn't do it for very long, and I didn't freeze the frame. I was watching Critical Role and just letting it go, and I was trying to draw him while he was moving so much. So I did it very quick, and I did it while his face was moving, which was not helpful. So I'm like, wow, that turned out really bad. So let me try drawing Marisha Ray with a lot more time and with a still shot instead of her moving around all the place while they're playing, right? So I did that, and this turned out so much better, and that actually looks like Marisha. I don't think I liked it so much at the time. I think it was okay, but I like it now. Like, it's grown on me. And this would have been... So this was the second month of 2019. These were also people I played with. I don't remember their names either. I want to say one of their names is Sean. No, that was another player that I didn't draw. There were 2 other players. It was a table of 6. There's 2 other players that I never got a chance to draw. But these actually look very much like them. His glasses are a little heavy. That doesn't quite look right, but he looks fairly correct. He's a little off, but they're fairly close. Let's see here, what else? This is me just playing with pens and markers and Prismacolor and Copics. Actually, I think these are Copics, not Prismacolor. Oh, there's Kirito, who is actually who my ferret is named after, and Delilah. They're best friends. I don't know who that is. I think that was just a couple drawing where I was trying to draw a couple people interacting with each other. I like trying to do group pictures of them doing something together or posing together, like these 2. Kirito absolutely loves Delilah. Like his favorite person in the whole world. And he acts very much as her comfort blanket, like her security blanket. She's got a lot of mental problems and a lot of anxiety and stress issues. A lot of us are like that. But he's always there to bring her comfort and to let her know that the world's not actually going down the drain. It's gonna be okay. And helps kind of keep her mind and emotions kind of under control a little bit. Let's see here. Oh, that's cute. I have no idea who that is, but that's cute. I did like a little thumbnail and then I did it larger. This was probably supposed to be like a finished drawing at some point, but I never got around to it. I don't know who that would even be. It's a cute drawing though. I really, really dig it, but I wouldn't mind making that a finished drawing at some point. Then this is Delilah's brother, named Massacre, but we call him Massey. He belonged to a rich family that, due to a war, ended up kind of on his own and having absolutely zero idea how to take care of himself. And so Aldonia took him under wing and kind of started teaching him how to care for himself. It's actually kind of a sweet story. And she kind of helps take care of him and helps guide him. And now he, after having learned from Aldonia, is actually going and helping Delilah a bit. He still doesn't know everything that he's doing on his own. He's still kind of a lost lamb, I guess. A lost pup. But he does go and he helps Delilah out a lot. And he brings Delilah things and, you know, helps Delilah try to survive her very chaotic life. And then that was me just trying to figure out how to blend with Copics. And then this was supposed to be like a fairy dog that was rideable, and somebody sitting on top of him. And I never finished it. I didn't feel like finishing it, but I think it was a really cool concept, and it would be a nice piece of art. I have more ideas than I have time to draw things finished. That's why I sketch a lot, because I want to get the ideas out on paper. And that's it. So this sketchbook ran from, I think, 2016 at least to 2019, the early part of 2019. And that's that. So thanks for joining me on this odd venture into my sketchbook. Hopefully I'll be doing another one soonish. I really want to, like, a lot of my sketchbooks aren't finished. I would like to fill the pages up some more. But I want to do this one eventually. And this has all of, like, my high school, middle school, like, stuff that was not fully put into sketchbooks. Because I used to draw on a lot of computer paper so I could scan it in and, like I said, you know, color digitally, and I just never got around to it. So that's that. And you got a sneak peek of this when I did my paper tour. Go check out that video if you haven't seen it already. And yeah, so hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed me and my ferrets, it's free to subscribe. And remember, there's magic in art.